Welcome to the Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss podcast. Welcome back. Happy July. The time of recording this, it is hot, hot, hot in upstate New York, which is where I live. I have a client in Arizona. She tells me about her 110-degree temperatures. I spent about a month in, um, Henderson, Nevada in the summer, and that was my time experiencing really hot heat. And yeah, totally different heat. We actually had a conversation about, do you prefer humidity? Because she had actually experienced um, upstate New York, if you will, humidity, East Coast humidity versus, um, yeah, versus hot heat, dry heat. That's the word I'm looking for. And we both prefer the dry heat over the humidity because the humidity is real. It's 97 degrees here today. Humidity is real, so I hope you're staying cool in more ways than one, because I know you're a cool person listening to this podcast. I attract cool people, and I appreciate that. So thanks for listening. Today, we're going to talk about what's driving your overeating. Last week, I shared some video testimonials from clients of mine. We'll see how I feel, if I don't feel like sharing any of them again, just in case you didn't hear it. But if I don't, go ahead and listen to last week's episode to hear that. Sometimes hearing other people's experiences is just way more, helpful than hearing it from me. I'm just one gal versus many who have achieved food freedom doing this work. And I want that for you if you want that, if you're ready for the evolution of yourself. So, what's really driving your overeating? Your triggers, trauma, we're going to talk about, as well as false identities. So, kind of taking what I shared last week around what we covered in the master class a couple weeks ago to the next level, if you will. So today I'm actually going to be revealing the secret emotional types behind food struggles and how they silently drive everything from binging to procrastination, also to people pleasing. Are you a people pleaser? Do you procrastinate? Do you use food as a way to procrastinate? Do you binge? If you do, I know how painful it can be. All the silent stuff, even if you binge on healthy food, which used to be my case as well. I get it. I've been there. So let's dive in. All right, first kind of cycle I want you to picture here is a trigger cycle. It's positive reinforcement cycle. So what happens is you get triggered. So say you see yourself in the mirror, put on a pair of pants that's too tight, take a photograph, have a family event coming up, a 4th of July, right? A family reunion, a wedding. There's something that comes up that creates some kind of trigger. And that trigger then can actually touch on some kind of trauma. And trauma does not always need to be something extreme. It can be abuse, for example, all types of abuse. And unfortunately, many of my clients have experienced real big T trauma, but can also just be emotionally unavailable parents in some way, shape, or form. That trauma then leads to an identity of feeling like I'm not good enough, or something's wrong with me, or how come, why it's not fair, how come they can have that, but I can't, and therefore I'm lesser than somehow. Or it could even be like, I have to be strong. I have to stay in control. I'm the strong one. I'm the responsible one. And that leads to a behavior. So whether it's overworking or it's overeating, whatever it is, as that survival mechanism, like we talked about last week. So every time you overeat, it starts with a trigger. And if you're not exactly sure about that, you don't have to believe me. Just go and look at it. Just go and test it. When was the last time that you overate? When was the last time you fell off track? When was the last time that you ate in a way that you weren't happy with? Or drank, by the way, if you had too many drinks on the weekend. It always starts with a trigger, and that trigger could be something really fun of like, oh my gosh, I just had a huge win, or we're celebrating something awesome. Or it could also be something negative. Somebody passes away or something hard happens. But underneath the trigger is a trauma. And out of that trauma, your mind formed a protective identity. I've had clients who, oh gosh, just these conversations I've had just since the masterclass the last few weeks. Like, I just feel so much for these humans, like, so on the surface, like, just like so successful, and they're leaders, and people look up to them, and their kids do, and their grandkids do. And they work really hard and they've achieved so many things, but they're exhausted on the inside. I had a new client say to me, like, I feel like I'm crying on the inside. And it's like, at what point does our physical body actually just not be able to take it anymore? I have to be the strong one. I can't control myself. All because there's a little wounded part of you inside that's still trying so desperately to fit in, still trying so desperately to be accepted, still trying so desperately to prove or to have someone see you or love you or validate you. But we don't want to touch on those emotions because you're the strong one. People rely on you. You can't do that, or else their whole, facade that we're putting on is up. I've heard people talk recently this week on like imposter syndrome and that being something that's really present for them. And since we can't look at that because to your unconscious mind, you actually acknowledging some of those feelings, it actually feels like worst case scenario, like everything's going to fall apart if I let anybody see any of these aspects about me or whatever it looks like for you. And so you avoid, you know, some of you might know you're avoiding, some of you might not know you're avoiding, but avoidance can look like overworking. It can look like people pleasing. It can look like binging, dieting, perfectionism, controlling, criticizing other people, your husband. All these are just clever ways to avoid feeling. All of them are clever ways to avoid feeling. So, why does this matter? So, when your unconscious mind believes letting go of that old identity of I'm the strong one equals death, it clings really hard to control, to food rules, and to diet. I remember different times in my path is that my consciousness started to become more aware of what was actually going on that had me be so obsessed around food, body, and weight. One was a breakup. And I watched myself after the breakup go into that drive mode of being like, oh, I'm going to get into the best shape of my life now. Who here has ever done anything like that before? Or it could go the other side where you feel upset about it. And so you eat a bunch as a way to, it feels like you're like, for me, it was a different breakup where I was like, I'm going to punish them by gaining weight. What? It doesn't even make sense. This is the unconscious mind, though. It does not make logical sense. Um, there was another, yeah, that same breakup where I started, working out and getting inspired. I also watched myself step on the scale like a lot of times a day. And I recognized I was like, oh, I'm doing this because there's some kind of emotional safety that I'm getting by continuing to see the number. Like there was something that just had me feel like, yeah, so it's like this isn't a weight thing. It's an emotional thing. It's unconscious stuff that's going on underneath the surface. So holding on to that identity of I have to be the strong one, I have to be the responsible one, I have to, whatever it is, or else it's like trying to keep a beach ball underneath water. Eventually it pops back up. And so does your weight pops back up. So it's like, okay, so how do we change this? How do we get out of the statistic that 95% of the people who lose weight gain it back within the first 5 years using diet and exercise? How do we get out of the statistic that we spend $70 billion a year in the US alone on weight loss products that can't wait for you to fall off track again? So you have to buy your Weight Watchers membership again. Like, what is actually happening underneath the surface? So, how do you actually change it? Like, really change it without control, without diet? Because, Leslie, how could I let go of that? But then I'm going to gain weight and I'm going to feel terrible. And then I'm going to, like, I get it. Again, if you heard last week's episode, major paradigm shift. We have to completely change the paradigm, completely go a different avenue than you've ever gone before. So, step one, food freedom. We need to support you in calming the nervous system and ending the obsession. Step 2, no rules plan. So learning to trust your body and create your own path. Your own path. Not your doctor's path, not society's path, not what you've learned about science and the right and wrong thing to do in your body path, your path. And step 3 is emotional mastery. So dealing with life without losing yourself to food. So looking back at your life again with those triggers, the last time you overate, what was happening? So when I ask people this question, I'll be like, oh, well, I got into an argument with my husband, or my kids really ticked me off, or I was exhausted, or I just came back from a trip and it was really hard to be around people, or I was thinking about the trip that I have coming up and I was nervous and anxious about putting my bathing suit on. So even though it doesn't make sense because you want to lose weight, we need to have something to help us. It's that survival of like, I need to cling to something. So you either cling to the food or you cling to the diet, but both are false senses of safety. We need to support you in feeling safe enough by giving you the tools that you need and understanding that, yeah, what's underneath the surface, and to feel through whatever's happening, move through those core wounds, whatever's in the background. And soon you'll realize like it never was about the food in the first place. It never, never, never was, even though it really feels like, no, Leslie, I binge, or Leslie, I eat overnight. I need to stop doing that. I get that. But if you want to stop doing it forever, opportunity to actually do the deep dive work here. Okay, good. So I am going to show you have you listen to the testimonial video that I have here. So just give me a moment for those of you who are watching on YouTube. You'll be able to see my screen. For those of you who are listening, you'll hear a slight pause before I get into it here.
Basically always struggled with weight. By the time I was a junior in high school, I was at more. I've dieted my whole life and have never lost more than 20 pounds.
A big thing for me has just always been up and down with my weight. I literally tried everything. Every day of my life, I've been on a diet. So you go out with your friends and you enjoy that. And then you beat yourself up the next day because you're like, damn it.
It was like this roller coaster of I could go up 30 pounds and down 20 once or twice a year.
I literally tried everything. It was always a struggle for me. It was like so hard for me to keep the weight off.
But it really was very telling that, oh my gosh, some dieting doesn't work for me.
I finally realized I needed something different to tackle this. And so just decided to try this and see what happens.
It really was just so different than anything I've ever tried, and so counterintuitive.
It gets at what the core issues are, and it's not another diet, and that's the point of it.
When I realized I never had to technically go on a diet again, that was insane to me. It's not about food. It's not about exercising. That was the part that really did it for me, is that just knowing that it's me. This is me.
The food becomes so far down the list, and I think that's part of the win.
And all that stress just lifted, like a heavy wet blanket started to come off. Every stomach issue I had is completely gone.
I would honestly recommend this for anybody who's looking for a change.
It's the first time in my whole life I know I will never gain any of this weight back.
Advocate for yourself and sign up. It's a life-changing moment. It's a life-changing journey.
I think anybody who's under stress or pressure could definitely benefit from this type of stuff.
Just do it. I promise you, it's the best thing you'll ever do for yourself.
Amazing. Good. Take that first step. Fail-proof step. Go over to the website, hpwl.co/apply. Like I said last week, you might notice there's a bit of limited availability. I've got family coming in town for July. So definitely grab whatever spot that you can on my calendar, and make sure that I'll send you some helpful resources to support you on your journey. The thing is, I can't ever know what's going to help someone unless I have a longer conversation with them. My kind of superpower is I'm able to really listen to you in a way that no one's been able to really hear you before, and consider that could be what your soul has really been asking for all these years that you've been trying to figure out the weight thing. And so I promise a breakthrough for you on any call that you get on with me. And just know that I just absolutely love holding space for you as you're serious about learning what's in the way of your being able to master this area of your life. Like, what would it be like for you if you didn't have to struggle with this anymore? It's possible for you. There is a way out of it. I wish someone told me that years ago when I was struggling with it. So if you're ready to stop treating the symptom and start healing the root cause, you can book your free call through hpwl.co/apply. This is how you get lasting transformation in this area of your life. It's not just another program. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you for the next episode. Ready to finally break free from the diet hamster wheel and create lasting transformation? I've put together a free hypnosis training just for you, where I break down why diets keep failing, the mindset shifts you need to stop the cycle, and how to rewire your subconscious for true effortless change. Text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483, and I'll send it to you instantly. You don't have to keep struggling. Real freedom starts now. Take the first step. Text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483.